Paul, what do you consider the minimum cost a filmmaker should spend on their festival run, and will do seasoned versus beginner?
What's the minimum cost? I don't know that there is a minimum cost. I mean, it's possible to spend nothing. I think you want to think of it more in terms of how many festivals do you want to play. I think is more an idea. I think you want to play, if you really want to play 10 to 15 festivals if you can, over the course of a year to 16 months. So I think as you get close to finishing your movie, I think you want to look at, okay, we think we'll be done by May. So we can, it's maybe kind of too late to submit, definitely too late to submit to Tribeca or LA, probably too late to submit to Toronto. So maybe we do try an early submission to Sundance and Slam. If it's your first time filmmaker, Slamdance, because Slamdance only takes first time filmmakers into their competition category. Okay, we're going to submit to those two. After that, we'll submit to regional festivals, that we can submit to reasonably far enough in advance that we're getting early submission fees and we have a better chance of getting in. And then you start looking at the schedule and again, talk to a filmmaker, find which ones you want to hit. But I think you want to try to get into 10 to 15, which means applying to 40 to 60 festivals, but applying early where it's like $35, whatever is more advantageous. And do it slowly. Don't do it all at once, because festivals, well, I mean, first of all, a lot of festivals aren't open yet, but also as you start to play, once you start to play, you start getting invited to other places. Oh, I heard about your film and we want to submit you to this festival. Or, there was a programmer at Waterfront that saw our film, liked it, and recommended it to several other festivals. So we'd been submitted to 4 or 5 other festivals for free because she heard of it. So, I think do it slowly, roll out slowly, and dip your toe in the water a little bit, because if you've done 10 submissions and you haven't gotten into anything, and they're not, and you've gotten some smaller festivals and there's some regional festivals in there, and no one's biting, then you might want to take a look at your movie. It may not be 4 festivals, but this, again, like, do your research. There's festivals for everything. If your film's, if it's reasonably well made, regardless of what it is, you should be able to get some decent festival play, because most films aren't reasonably well made. That's really the trick is. They say, there's 10,000 features made a year, but only, 1,000 are watchable in any way. Only 1,000 have real actors, or, it's a much smaller pool. So there's a place for you. It's funny, like it's genre dependent too. Like I've learned that comedies have an easier time getting programmed than dramas, and that romantic comedies have an easier time than that, because festivals have to program a certain amount of lighter material for older audiences. I mean, older audiences come in and they want to see, things that are different. They don't want to see blockbusters. They want to harken back to a time when movies didn't suck so bad, the Hollywood ones. But they also are, relatively conservatives. They occasionally want to see a love story rather than all the dark, dirgeful stuff that most filmmakers, like myself, tend to pour out. So very often than not, I'll see a romantic comedy. And I've seen some good ones, I have. But often I'll go to a festival, I'll see a romantic comedy, and I'll go, that wasn't so good. Oh, because it's a romantic comedy. They had to program 2, and they only found one that they liked. So the other one is kind of just in there. But yeah, there's a place for everything. So that's really, there's no minimum. I mean, you can get waivers and you can get recommendations. There's no reason you can't spend 0. But you want to make sure your throw is big enough that you take advantage of the circuit, that you're able to play a good smattering around the country. Because when you do go to VOD, DVD, whether you do it through Gravitas Pictures, Film Buffer by yourself, you want your film to have access to an audience. Favor will have played 12 film festivals on its film festival run, and we have one more coming up. And we have, I think it's an average of 30,000 attendees per festival. That's the average. So that's 360,000 people that have been exposed to our advertising material thanks to these non-Sundance festivals, these regional festivals, and they're all over the country. So that's a pretty good throw. And when we come out on VOD in April 1st, we come out on VOD, I'm going to be writing every one of those festivals saying, hey, can you go on Twitter and tweet about us? Can you, do you have a newsletter? Can you put us in your newsletter? Can you send an email blast out to your email people? To your mailing list? Can you put us in the news items on your webpage. And festivals, even though the festival only runs part of the year, they're operating year round. They want to stay relevant year round. So some own their own theaters, some do screenings and fundraisers throughout the year. Some have mini offshoot versions of themselves, like we have the horror one in October. But they want to stay relevant, and your success is their success. You're forever an alumni of that festival. So, hey, we're the Dead Center Film Festival. This film we played is doing well. Well, that reflects well on them. And the people that they're sending that blast to, saying they're on VOD, have been exposed to the programs and Festival Genius and all the things that happened when we did play there last summer. So even if they didn't see the film, there's some brand awareness. That's important. So moving forward, I think you definitely want to have, if you're going to do festivals, a big enough chunk. And that's really what you want to hit, regardless of how much money you spend. This is my hands. I don't know why I'm doing that.